Do I still hate The Catcher in the Rye? When I was 18, I read this and I couldn't stand Holden Caulfield. I couldn't stand his whining. I couldn't stand his stomach problems and everything else. I didn't like this book. Now, as an adult, now I'm older, will I have a different perspective? Let's find out. Hello, my name is Jim. This is my channel, Books, Reading and Stuff. I did a video recently where I asked if this was the worst book I've ever read, The Secret of Another Desert by Kargareteli. But I did give this 2 stars. Maybe I should revise it down to 1 star. I don't know. My ratings are very subjective. 5 stars means it was an exceptional book for me. I really enjoyed it. Goodreads doesn't allow half stars, so if a book for me is 4.5, I'll round it up to 5. 4 stars, most of the books I rate 4 stars. I enjoyed this book. 3 stars, this was a little disappointing, maybe. It was okay, but it could have been better for my personal reading experience. And 1 star and 2 star, I very rarely rate a book 1 star or 2 stars, because if it's not working for me, I'll DNF it. I DNF'd Asylum recently. That may have ended up a 1 or a 2 star, but I didn't finish it, so I didn't rate it. I rarely rate a book 1 star. On Goodreads, I've left 1,475 ratings, and of those, only 5 are 1 star. These were for The Catcher in the Rye, for Double Fault by Lionel Shriver. I really liked We Need to Talk About Kevin by the same author, which I rated 5 stars, but Double Fault didn't work for me at all, so that's 1 star. One writer, I've read 2 books, one's 5 star, one's 1 star. On the Road by Jack Kerouac, I know a lot of people really like this book, but there's too much alcohol, too many drugs, too much misogyny, and too much jazz. It's not my thing at all. What I Know by Andrew Cowan, this was very diluted. Nick Hornby, it didn't work for me at all. And Lord of the Flies, I didn't like the story, I didn't like the premise. I just found it distasteful, so again, 1 star from me. I've been going through a phase of rereading certain books recently, and I thought it would be interesting to see if my perspective has changed on a book I didn't like. The other books I've been rereading are ones I really enjoyed, like The Blind Assassin. I really enjoyed it the second time. East of Eden, The Great Gatsby. And I'm currently rereading City by Clifford Simak, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm about halfway through. And again, it's been about 40 years since I originally read this. Do I still hate The Catcher in the Rye? No, I don't. It wasn't a book I had to read in school. School put me off a lot of books, a lot of authors. I still struggle with plays because of school. We had to read a lot of Shakespeare in school, and it put me off Shakespeare and plays in general. Dickens, we had to read A Tale of Two Cities, and it was 20 years after school when I was able to pick up another Dickens. Now I really like Dickens. There's half a shelf of Dickens here, and I'm reading through all his oeuvre. The Catcher in the Rye was not a school text. I picked it up because I was intrigued by the title, The Catcher in the Rye. We first come across this about halfway through the book. Holden is walking through New York and he meets this 6-year-old kid who's singing and humming. I got up closer so I could hear what he was singing. He was singing that song, If a Body Catch a Body Coming Through the Rye. He had a pretty little voice too. He was just singing for the hell of it, you could tell. The origin of The Catcher in the Rye is Robbie Burns. There was a song of his, Coming Through the Rye, and the verse reads, Gin a body, meet a body, coming through the rye, gin a body, kiss a body, need a body cry. So Holden misheard it as catch a body. This is based on Holden's preferred occupation. He wants to be the catcher in the rye. He wants to save kids from the evils of the adult world. He wants to protect their innocence. He imagines himself in his field of rye by a cliff where he can catch the kids before they fall over the cliff. Holden is a teenager, but this isn't really a YA novel. It's not really a coming-of-age novel. Holden doesn't change through the book. I can now appreciate better his inner monologues. He's not well. He smokes and drinks too much. He has this grief for the death of his younger brother that he hasn't fully processed. He talks about his brother here. My brother Ali had this left-hander fielder's mitt. He was left-handed. The thing that was descriptive about it, though, was that he had poems written all over the fingers and the pockets and everywhere in green ink. He wrote them on it so that he'd have something to read when he was in the field, and nobody was up to bat. He's dead now. He got leukemia and died when we were up in Maine on July the 18th, 1946. You'd have liked him. He was 2 years younger than I was. He was about 50 times as intelligent. He was terrifically intelligent. Holden should probably have had a therapist. He had been expelled from Pensy, which is a prep school for the Ivy League, and because he failed all his classes except English. He was good at English, and in the book he cites works like The Return of the Native and David Copperfield. He was fed up with the phonies. That's a word he liked to use a lot. Caroline Marie counted 45 uses of the word phony in The Catcher in the Rye. Holden decides to leave Pensy early, catches a train to New York, and he intends to stay away from home until Wednesday, when his parents will have received notice of his expulsion, and he wanders around New York and has various encounters and thinks about what he's doing. It's a fascinating book. I wouldn't give it 5 stars. I'd give it 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it. If anybody says The Catcher in the Rye is their favourite book, that could be a red flag. After fatally shooting John Lennon, Mark Chapman was arrested with a copy of the book he had purchased the same day, inside of which he had written to Holden Caulfield, from Holden Caulfield, "This is my statement." Have you reread any books and found them to be very different to your experience of the first time reading them? Let me know in the comments below. I really enjoyed this. I like the juxtaposition between sorrow and humour in the text. Unreliable narrators like Holden. When I read this, it was a time when I was reading a lot of science fiction and fantasy. This was very different to what I was reading at the time, but now I've read a lot of unreliable narrators. Ignatius Riley of Confederacy of Dunces springs to mind. So I'm more used to that style. I'm more comfortable with that style. I might have hated it the first time because it was just unfamiliar to me, and I took it more superficially. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.